In 1975, Chris Claremont wrote the X-Men for the first time, taking what was Marvel's lame duck franchise and turning it into one of the most popular comics of all time. His run lasted until 1991, being one of the longest singular writing runs of a comic at Marvel. In 2009, Claremont was allowed to return to continue the stories he had left unfinished in 1991. And for 2 years, over the course of 40 regular issues, 1 annual and 1 giant size, as well as 1 alpha issue that basically recapped the first storyline of X-Men Volume 2 with new pages at the end, all of which was split over 2 volumes, he returned to that story. Yet again, it would be left unfinished. I am a huge fan of the original Claremont run, because my mother was a fan of the Claremont run, and due to this, I read X-Men Forever, his return to that legendary run when it came out. It got cancelled due to low sales numbers, and one of those reasons was actually because a lot of people didn't know about it at the time. At the time, I tended to help out at a local comic shop during major events and whatnot from time to time in exchange for half off my comics. It was a good deal. And many X-Men fans at the time thought it was just another alt-universe X-Men title like Exiles or Mutant X. It is still one of the least known X-Men titles out there due to being overshadowed by a previous comic to bear the same name. But me? I knew about it, and I loved it, despite its flaws. However, this is not a review of that comic, or a deep dive into that story. It's a fan continuation in the form of an audio narrative written by me as part of my Divergent Paths series. But being since many did not read this comic, I'm going to quickly cover the events that occurred throughout the 43-ish issues with this episode 0 primer, with the follow-up coming shortly. With that said, hello, I'm Eliza, and this is a primer on X-Men Forever for Divergent Paths.
Previously on X-Men.
After the events on Asteroid M in X-Men Volume 2, numbers 1 through 3, a team of X-Men, after some roster rotation consisting of Storm, Wolverine, Gambit, Shadowcat, Rogue, Nightcrawler, Beast, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Lockheed the Dragon, take down Fabian Cortez, his powers disrupting Shadowcat as she phases through Wolverine. They turn him over to S.H.I.E.L.D., which has placed an outpost inside of the Xavier School due to the events with Magneto. As Xavier and the team debrief Fury, a mental shockwave goes throughout the entire mansion. Jean's shockwave not only knocked everyone out, but also knocked out all the power to the mansion. And Storm, who had been away for the evening, returns with the mansion in complete darkness, with something stalking her. What stalks Storm is Sabretooth, and the X-Men face it. During the fight, Storm burns Sabretooth's eyes right out of the socket. But there's a twist. Sabretooth claims that Storm killed his son. Storm killed Wolverine. The X-Men are disbelieving, but Jean awakens, her mental fury revealing to all of them the truth. Sabretooth isn't lying. Storm did indeed kill Logan. And Storm flees. But there's a twist. Kitty tries to stop her, only for one of Wolverine's claws to pop out of her hand and slash Storm across the face. Wait, what? It turns out when Cortez disrupted her powers as she phased through Wolverine, she picked up a bit of his healing factor, enhanced senses, and one of his claws. Storm flees, a scar across her face. 2 biosignals for Storm have been discovered. The X-Men split up to track down the 2 biosignals, and while Shadowcat, Sabretooth, Jean, and Cyclops track down Storm, Gambit, Rogue, and Nightcrawler encounter Storm? Yes, the young Storm from when she was de-aged before she was returned to normal in the Extinction Agenda is here. But which is the real Storm? The adult Storm seems to have more of Storm's memories, but is evil and working for a group called the Consortium. But young Storm, or Ro, as she will be called from here on out, has the memories from when Gambit found her to what happened on Genosha. And the Consortium wants them both dead. Gambit, Rogue, and Nightcrawler protect Ro, and the others try to both capture and protect the adult Storm, but she kills the Consortium agents and flees. Beast calls the X-Men back to the mansion. He has discovered something devastating. A medical condition known as burnout. Something that affects all mutants that push their powers too hard. And it turns out this entire time, Charles knew. Quick side note, there are some problems with burnout I'll discuss later when I have time to review the series overall. New Sentinels are discovered, as is a new Trask, and she's connected to the Consortium. Her name is Sigrid Trask, and she hates Nick Fury. As they deal with her, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Daisy Dugan essentially joins the X-Men as well. As we move to seeing other things, we learn that in this universe, Nathan does not have the techno-organic virus anymore and is about the age of 7, living with Cyclops' grandparents, but that is a story never told. Meanwhile, in Russia, Colossus has joined the Winter Guard, and Shadowcat, Gambit, and Rogue go to visit him just in time to be there as an evil mage takes control of his younger sister Liana and turn her back into the villainous magic, although this time a much darker version. She is black magic. While they defeat the evil mage, Liana is left transformed and teleports away. In Africa, the adult Storm marries and kills T'Challa to take control of Wakanda. Back at the mansion, Sabretooth, Daisy, and Fury track down Consortium spies, while Jean and Beast start dating and Cyclops spends time with his family.
Nightcrawler and Rogue are lured to New Orleans by Mystique, their mother.
And Rogue and Nightcrawler are revealed to be possibly biologically related as well, as the sibling symptom of mutant powers happens when they touch each other for an extended period. And Rogue and Nightcrawler's powers swap, making them both immune to burnout. But for now, Kurt can no longer touch anyone. And Rogue looks like Kurt used to, but a woman. Trying to move their plans along, the Consortium intends to kidnap Nathan, but Cyclops, Havoc, Polaris, and the Starjammers rescue him. Around this time, the X-Men all finally reunite and go to rescue Cortez from the Consortium, which they manage to do, but he is fatally injured and Sabretooth loses a hand. Cortez gives them crucial information, and the X-Men go to stop a major Consortium base in space. Heading out into orbit, the X-Men take on the Consortium space base, aided by their spy on the inside, Tony Stark. It turns out the Starks and the Trasks are related. The X-Men and Stark manage to win, but Beast and Tony die in the destruction of the orbital platform. And Nick Fury has made a very disturbing discovery. The Consortium has infiltrated the depths of S.H.I.E.L.D., so Nick decides to make the mansion his permanent outpost for now. On Chandeleur, the Skrulls attack and it's revealed Xavier's research there accidentally left an opening. Meanwhile, G.W. Bridge, an agent of the Consortium, lies to get the Avengers to attack the X-Men. The Shi'ar attack Summers Cove to find Xavier. The X-Men, alongside Havoc, Polaris, Angel, Iceman, and Charlotte Jones, work together to fight them off, only for Xavier to agree to head into Shi'ar space permanently. During this, Charlotte and Nate make reference to whatever event aged Nate into pre-teenhood from being a baby. The Avengers, under the orders from G.W. Bridge, attack the X-Men, blaming them for the deaths of Wolverine, Beast, and Iron Man. The X-Men and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents there seemingly die, with the Avengers responsible. And in the aftermath, Ziggy Trask is appointed head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Meanwhile, Mr. Sinister's true identity is revealed. He has a mutant child named Nathaniel Essex, the same one Cyclops knew at the Nebraska orphanage. 6 weeks after the destruction of the Xavier Mansion, Peter Parker, a longtime ally of the X-Men, goes to check for survivors of the blast. Hearing the sound of Nightcrawler's teleporting, he tracks it down and meets up with Rogue. The two have a night on the town and almost kiss. However, the X-Men have scrambled to bring her back in, but she and Spider-Man rescue them from the Sentinels, and Mystique joins the X-Men as Spidey agrees to keep their survival a secret. While all that happened, the Morlocks have kidnapped Sabretooth and Moira. Sabretooth is revealed to not be the Sabretooth that was a member of the Marauders. That was a clone. The X-Men fight the Morlocks and come to a ceasefire and understanding. However, S.H.I.E.L.D. attacks. The X-Men get away, but the Morlocks get captured, only to be rescued by the Morlocks. Yes, Callisto is back with a faction of Morlocks and a new partner, the Ghost Panther. The Marauders are sent by Sinister to attack the Summers home in Alaska, and the X-Men, alongside Havoc and Polaris, head there to assist. But the Marauders have a new member as well, a clone of Wolverine. Stabbed by the Wolverine clone, Kitty's powers evolve, giving her bone claws coming out of her fingers on the hand without Wolverine's claws. In the chaos, Mystique gets a hold of Malice's choker. As the X-Men recover, Kitty starts having more and more of Wolverine's traits. She nearly kisses Gambit, and she, Lockheed, and Rogue go to visit Mariko Yoshida, hoping to get some assistance. However, when they arrive, they witness the Yoshida clan and the Hand joining forces. Cloneverine strikes. They flee and are put in prison, only to be released by Mariko. And she is working with the Consortium? Wait, she's claiming Jean was responsible for Logan and her splitting? They split when Jean was dead. Why is she lying? Adult Storm, whom from this point on I will call Perfect, has also rejoined the Consortium, and Mariko kidnaps Ro to give to her for further allegiance to them. Ghost Panther rescues Ro. Polaris and Havoc rejoin the team completely. Angel is revealed to have been helping Callisto and Ghost Panther in moving the Morlocks to Genosha. Things finally come to a head as Ro is revealed to be the real Storm and Perfect is a fake. And Ghost Panther is revealed to be the missing parts of Ro given life, her memory and the strongest parts of her power. Perfect is a biosynth made by the Gingineer back on Genosha. The child was found by the Consortium and is what led to Stark infiltrating them. He gave the Ghost Panther her suit to stabilize her so the mind, spirit, and strength of Storm wouldn't be lost. It is also revealed that Perfect was pushed into this darkness by the Shadow King. With all this knowledge, the X-Men infiltrate Wakanda as Ro and Ghost Panther head to meet up with Doctor Strange to help them merge back together. But Perfect has one last play. She has brought in the Avengers to deal with the X-Men. As the X-Men and Avengers fight, Kurt attempts to even the odds by taking some of Thor's power, but something goes wrong. The blast puts him into some form of coma, and as Cyclops attempts to defuse the situation, Perfect kills Havoc. Ghost Panther arrives and she and Polaris defeat Perfect, and the truth is revealed to the Avengers as Ghost Panther removes their helmet to reveal the one true Storm. As they sift through the rubble, things come to light.
Kurt in his delirious coma is speaking in Old Norse.
So Mystique, Rogue, Thor, with the assistance of Danielle Moonstar, head to Moore Island to deal with Kurt's problem. Storm decides to infiltrate the Consortium, with Callisto as her second. Kitty goes to help out in Genosha. Meanwhile, back in Alaska, Sinister kidnaps Corsair and Nate, and the X-Men bury another family member in Havoc. And that's the quick recap of the run of X-Men Forever. I hope you join me soon for the start of the Divergent Paths episodes of my fan-made narrative of X-Men Forever Season 3. Until then, I have a Patreon. You can follow me on Twitter. I have a Twitch where I stream constantly, and I have other shows on this channel you may like. I hope to see you all soon.